Choo-choo! Content train pulling into the station. So the hot new meme is to make these conspiracy iceberg images. I mean, it's not a new meme at all. I remember seeing one about, like, metal subgenres way back on, like, I Can Has Cheeseburger in, like, 2014. But the new thing is to fill it with, like, secrets and mysteries and conspiracies about one particular topic, and then make a video about it. Because someone did a video on the Mario 64 iceberg, and now everyone's doing it. So, hop on the content train, boys. It's the bad movie conspiracy iceberg. Special thanks to r/bad movies for helping me fill out this iceberg. And content warning, 2 of these are about suicide. Level 1. Tommy Wiseau has mob ties. There's a lot of Tommy Wiseau theories, enough you could probably make an iceberg of just The Room theories, but this one is on the top layer since it's substantiated in Greg Sestero's book The Disaster Artist. Rumor goes Tommy got all his money, which he used to finance The Room, working for the mob. Ed Wood's stolen octopus. During the filming of Bride of the Monster, director Edward D. Wood Jr. and some other crew members stole a rubber octopus from another production. However, they failed to steal any mechanism to control it, so actors thrown to the octopus had to just grab it and wiggle around. This story is recounted in the 1994 film Ed Wood, so most people who watch this film know about it. The stolen original food fight. The animated film Food Fight was almost finished with animation when the hard drives containing the films were stolen. As it would have been extremely difficult to steal these, having to go through several layers of security, it's believed someone on the inside was involved. To date, no one has ever been convicted in the involvement of this stealing, and the original version of Food Fight remains lost. Uwe Boll's films are for a tax loophole. For a while, German law allowed the funding of German films to be written off as taxes, especially if the movie flopped. Thus, notoriously awful German director Uwe Boll, known for many video game adaptations such as Alone in the Dark and Blood Rain, was able to fund many of his movies this way, until the loophole was closed in 2006. Level 2. The entire production of The Creeping Terror. I talked about this pretty extensively in my review of the film, but in short, director Arthur White, aka AJ Nelson, aka Vic Savage, we don't actually know his real name, went around to a bunch of producers, raised a bunch of money on the promise of a high-budget sci-fi film, made this, and then ran off with the money. No audio from the original film is left over, and no one can agree on why. Either they dropped the recording equipment in the lake, or it was stolen, or they couldn't use it properly, or they never had any. The film Creep Behind the Camera covers a lot of the rumors surrounding this film, although be warned, it takes all of these rumors, even the demonstrably untrue ones, at face value. Manus Missing opening credits. Manos, The Hands of Fate opens on nearly 10 minutes of pointless scenery and driving shots, leading many to speculate that this footage was intended for the opening credits, but the film's slapdash production couldn't afford it. I couldn't find a source verifying this, only speculation. It seems somewhat reasonable, but this could just as easily be here to pad out the runtime, as Manos is already a pretty short movie. All Adam Sandler movies are in the same universe. A popular video by YouTuber The Uniballer outlines how many of the films Adam Sandler has starred in or produced have a lot of overlapping characters, seemingly putting them all in the same universe. Sandler has all but confirmed this theory, even stating he wants to make an Avengers-style team-up movie of all his characters. Which, if it happens, I will be there opening night to see it. Derek Savage Kickstarter scams. Cool Cat creator Derek Savage has a bit of a history with Kickstarter. His first push came after his falling out with YouTuber Adam Johnston, better known as Your Movie Sucks. In response, Savage removed Johnston from his then upcoming Gun Self-Defense for Ladies film near the end of its Kickstarter campaign. However, Savage has defended this, saying that anyone who pledged money on the promise of Johnson being in the movie could be refunded before the campaign ended, and yeah, fair enough. Much more dubiously are his other campaigns. One was for Cool Cat Kid Superhero, which was nearing its end with nowhere near its fixed goals, so Savage scrapped the campaign and started over with a much lower, flexible goal, meaning he could keep the money no matter what. Later, he would make a deal with YouTuber Mumkey Jones, allowing Jones to appear in his film Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, in exchange for Jones mobilizing his fan base to get the film funded. However, just days before the campaign ended, Savage would change the campaign to Cool Cat Stranger Danger, dropping any mention of Jones's involvement without notifying Jones or any of his backers that this change had occurred. Savage defends this move, but many backers and Mumkey himself were quite upset. Cat's Butthole Cut. The much maligned 2019 adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats was criticized for failing in pretty much every possible way, in particular, the creepy and frankly disgusting designs of the cats. However, according to effects people who worked on the film, there exists an earlier version of these characters where the cats had realistic cat buttholes, prompting fans to call for a release of The Butthole Cut. Level 3. Torgo is a satyr. In Manos, the Hands of Fate, the character Torgo is known for his odd walking style and awkwardly large needs. Allegedly, the first draft of the script revealed Torgo was a satyr, and many fans have pointed to this as an explanation for his awkwardness. However, Jackie Neiman Jones, who plays the little girl in the film, said Torgo was actually supposed to be a hunchback. However, a hunchback was deemed too cliché, so they gave him hunched knees. I'm not sure how much of this story is true, I couldn't really find a good source on it, so take that with a grain of salt. Mark is an undercover cop. There's a popular fan theory proposing that Mark from The Room is an undercover cop, based on some odd scenes with him, particularly how he handled the drug dealer Chris R. In The Disaster Artist, Mark's actor Greg Sestero says he proposed this idea to Tommy Wiseau during filming, but Wiseau rejected it. Manos mass suicides. According to an urban legend, many of the cast and crew of Manos the Hands of Fate committed suicide sometime after the film's release. Rest assured, this is completely untrue. John Reynolds, who played Torgo, committed suicide the same year the film was released. However, most of the other actors are still alive and have even reunited in recent years. Dingo Pictures. If you're watching a video on my channel, there is a near 0% chance you haven't seen my Dingo Pictures video, and if you haven't, I invite you to do so. In short, Dingo is known for making some truly awful Disney ripoffs. I've also deliberately left this one vague as there's so many mysteries and unanswered questions surrounding Dingo, you could probably make your own Dingo Pictures iceberg. Why were there movies released by 2 different game companies? Who did the English dubs? Why is the dub for Animal Soccer World different from the other games? Why is the English dub of Bremen Town Musicians only available on the French DVD? It's truly maddening, I gotta say. Derek Savage's criminal record. The members of the Super Media Bros podcast dug up court records indicating Cool Cat director Derek Savage has a criminal record. The documents use his real name, which I will be omitting, but they do note that he is also known as Derek Savage and that he owns Blue Thunder Books, Derek Savage's book company. Quote, Savage was charged in a superseding 5-count indictment with violations of National Firearms Act. The jury acquitted Savage on 4 of the 5 counts but convicted him on the 5th. Count 5 charged Savage with possession of an unregistered machine gun. The documents do reveal that Savage attempted to appeal his conviction, so it is possible he got these results overturned. Biodome was originally a Bill and Ted sequel. According to rumors, the Pauly Shore vehicle Biodome was originally intended to be a 3rd Bill and Ted movie, but the leads rejected the script and it was reworked into what we know now. I'm not sure how this rumor got started, but in a 2007 interview, Alex Winter, who plays Bill, confirmed it was untrue. No one involved in Bill and Ted worked on Biodome, and he was never approached for the script. And it would be weird if they used this script, firstly because it has nothing to do with time travel, but also because Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, who wrote the first two Bill and Ted movies, have apparently been trying to get a third Bill and Ted movie off the ground for quite a while now. And say what you will about Face the Music, it's a million times better than Biodome. Level 4. Future War was written for Mystery Science Theater 3000. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is a TV show about a man trapped in space and forced to watch cheesy movies with his robot friends, who heckle and make jokes about the movie. According to cast member Kevin Murphy, many fans of the show offered to send in their own movies, or even make their own movies for the crew to riff. While typically these were dismissed, rumor has it one made it in. 1997's Future War, covered in the 4th episode of the 10th season. From what I can tell, the film was not deliberately made to appear on MST3K, but according to the director, some of the cast and crew would joke that the film should be featured on the show during production. Also, if you saw the version of this image I posted on Reddit, I fucked up and said it was Merlin's Mystical Shop of Wonder. I was wrong, it was Future War. Tommy Wiseau is an alien. Due to Tommy Wiseau's mysterious origin, many have begun to speculate on where exactly he came from. This has led to a number of popular fan theories, including that Tommy Wiseau is actually an alien, based on his lack of backstory, strange appearance, bizarre accent, the fact that he doesn't seem to understand how humans behave, and, most damningly, a story Greg Sestero tells of Tommy getting particularly upset at the line, "What planet are you from?" Tommy Wiseau is a vampire. Much like the previous entry, this plays a lot on Wiseau's mysterious origin and eccentricities. In particular, he apparently had plans to make his character Johnny from The Room a vampire with a flying convertible. This one, however, is much more tongue-in-cheek than the Alien one, although neither theories are really seriously entertained. Tommy Wiseau is D.B. Cooper. In 1971, a man identified as Dan Cooper, later referred to as D.B. Cooper, hijacked an airplane and held the crew hostage for a large sum of money. As they were flying away, Cooper parachuted out of the plane with the money. He was never caught, no body was found, and the money never resurfaced. While many have speculated over Cooper's identity and eventual fate, the webcomic XKCD proposes he went on to be none other than The Room director Tommy Wiseau. However, those who met Cooper said he spoke with, quote, no discernible accent, which I think safely rules out Wiseau unless he's just been faking that voice the whole time. Robot Monster was so bad the director tried to kill himself. Robot Monster is a sci-fi film from 1953 about a world ravaged by a mysterious alien force who turns out to be a man in a gorilla suit and a diving helmet. Allegedly, critical reception of the film was so bad, director Phil Tucker attempted suicide after its release. Tucker confirms he did attempt suicide in an interview in the Golden Turkey Awards. However, there was a lot more to Tucker's suicide attempt, and pinning it all on Robot Monster is a bit of an overstatement. He would go on to work on many more films, and by the time of his death in 1985, Tucker seemed to have a pretty good sense of humor about the whole thing. Level 5. Harry Potter ripped off Troll 1. Before the legendary Troll 2, there was Troll 1, starring Sonny Bono and produced by Charles Band. And the main character of this film was named Harry Potter Jr. Harry Potter is his dad. 11 years before Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was originally published. According to representatives of J.K. Rowling, this is pure coincidence, and Rowling has said the character is named after a childhood friend. And while both stories are child-centric fantasies, troll writer Ed Naha has said, I think the only thing similar, aside from their names, is that they were both kids who spoke English. He also seems to find the situation more humorous than anything else, stating, if Rowling did recall the name with affection and decided to use it, so what? I've used names culled from comic books and movies I was fond of. Hotel California is about Manos, the Hands of Fate. I put this kinda low on the iceberg because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who's figured this out, but now that it's out there, you can't deny the truth. Long desert highways, stopping at a mysterious location, could be heaven, could be hell, the Master's Chambers, not being able to kill the beast, such a lovely face. Like, come on. Whatever's going on with Damien Chapa. Damien Chapa is an actor and director best known for his appearance in Blood In, Blood Out, but who's become infamous for several low-budget, unauthorized biopics starring himself. Also, apparently he has a YouTube channel where he makes crazy Illuminati conspiracy videos. I'm gonna be honest, I had a couple people on r/badmovies recommend this, but I don't really know much about it. I don't think it goes any deeper than a director who also does conspiracy YouTube videos. But if someone does have a good, concise source on this, I'd be very interested. It seems like a wild story. Rat Fink a Boo Boo couldn't afford to fix the credits. Rat Fink a Boo Boo is a film from Ray Dennis Steckler, the man who brought us the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies. The title is bizarre, obviously, and as the film's leads are characters named Rat Fink and Boo Boo, it was speculated that Rat Fink a Boo Boo was a typo made while animating the opening that they couldn't afford to fix. According to Steckler, however, the name came from a day when his infant son was on set and began yelling, "Rat Fink a Boo Boo, Rat Fink a Boo Boo," which he thought would make a good title. He went on to say he wished the typo story was true as it's a better explanation. Last Vampire on Earth was written for the movie. Last Vampire on Earth is a Twilight ripoff book that was adapted into a Twilight ripoff movie of the same name. Some, including the cast of Red Letter Media, speculate that the book was only written to be adapted since Twilight was also based on a book. There's no evidence on this one either way. It seems plausible, but on the other hand, that is a lot of effort to go through just to rip off something else. Pierre Kirby was killed by pirates. Pierre Kirby was a British sailor who'd transport things for rich people around Asia, usually driving yachts for them so they could relax. This is how he would meet Chinese director Godfrey Ho. Ho was well known for taking obscure or unfinished Hong Kong movies, adding a few scenes of some white English-speaking actors, and then marketing the film for America. And this was a role Kirby was particularly suited for. He appeared in 9 of Godfrey Ho's movies in 1988 and 1989, and never worked again. Apparently, Kirby was transporting a boat to the Philippines and disappeared. The explanation given by authorities is that he was killed by pirates. Bottom level. Pierre Kirby is still alive. 6 months after Kirby's mysterious disappearance, another of Ho's English-speaking actors, Edouard Bursama, claims he saw Kirby in the lobby of a Hyatt hotel in Hong Kong. He called out to Kirby, who didn't respond, and Bursama lost him in the crowd. Now, the explanation here is that the guy Bursama saw was just someone who looked like Kirby, but there's an extra little rabbit hole here. Most of my information came from this Reddit post, but every single citation link is dead except one to a compilation of YouTuber Brad Jones, better known as the Cinema Snob, reviewing Pierre Kirby movies. In one of the videos, he reads a now-deleted interview from Cinema Nocturna with another Ho actor, Paul John Stanners. I did find an interview with Edouard Bursama where he does reiterate the story of seeing Kirby in a Hyatt, but the sources for Kirby's mysterious disappearance are a quote from a now-deleted interview that is only available in a comedic YouTube video, and a second interview posted on Blogspot. And even then, Stanners says him getting killed by pirates was just a rumor. So maybe Pierre Kirby is alive and well and just didn't want to be in any more movies. This is by far the weirdest rabbit hole I fell down making this video. Blackenstein writer's Unsolved Murder. Blackenstein is a particularly bad blaxploitation film that was absolutely slammed by critics upon release. It was, however, the sole completed writing credit of Frank R. Salitre. In 1982, Salitre was found murdered in his Hollywood Hills home from a gunshot wound. His murder is still unsolved. Although realistically, it was probably like a robbery or something. This isn't Pasolini getting killed for making Sallow. Lost Jesus porno. In the Golden Turkey Awards, authors Henry and Michael Medved award Most Unerotic Concept for a Porno to Him, a movie about a gay man obsessed with the sex life of Jesus Christ. The film has never resurfaced since its original theatrical screening and is now considered lost, although a few ads and screenshots survive. I probably could have put a dozen other lost movies on this list. Robot Monster director Phil Tucker has one called Space Jockey, and Frank Salitre has one called Black the Ripper. But I picked him because 1, it's the first lost movie I ever heard of, and 2, I just think it's really funny. Who directed Heavy Metal Massacre? I talked about this in my review of Heavy Metal Massacre, but the whole film was shrouded in mystery for a while. It was one of the rarest VHS tapes, and its director, Bobby Young, seemed to have disappeared off the face of the planet. So, shot-on-video movie documentarian site Bleeding Skull went looking for Young and discovered he actually had re-emerged in Hollywood under his real name, David DeFalco. Incidentally, DeFalco is credited under his real name as the producer and star of Heavy Metal Massacre, but as Young for directing and writing, although according to him, much of the directing was handled by his cousin. And finally, the deepest point on the iceberg. The true meaning of Neil Breen's movies. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Neil Breen's movies. His political and social commentaries are just so subtle. These are not midnight movies. These are works of utter Breenius just waiting to be dissected. If you don't like Neil Breen's films, you just don't get it. And that's my iceberg. What's your favorite bad movie conspiracy? Let me know, and until next time, remember, the truth is out there.